So what makes you chuckleheads think you're beta material? Hi everybody, this is Alan Kaiser, the Bradster from the Night of the Creeps, and you're listening to Nightwatch.
And now, back to Nightwatch.
Yoda, this is, and listening tonight, what you are, and will continue to do. Foreseen it, I have. Yeah.
Welcome back to Nightwatch with your hosts, Todd Sheets, Chris Weisbach, and Hugh McClanahan.
And welcome back to Nightwatch. I'm your host, as always, Todd Sheets. Wow, getting threatened by the producer while we were at commercial break. That's always fun. And you know what? You don't even have room to threaten, because let's talk for 1 second before we go to our guests. I know they're waiting patiently.
And the volume goes down.
We're going to talk about this because, you know, we've heard in the past, there was week after week after week, Amanda was traveling the cosmos far and wide for Twilight makeup because of that movie, because it's glittery and
I'm
awesome.
wearing it right now.
First it was JCPenney's, then it was here, then it was there. Finally, it's, I know it's not going to be at Target. It's over here at this. My God, man, I've never seen anyone lose their mind so much over some makeup. So then she finally gets the makeup and buys the entire store out. Left one of each item.
I left one of everything for somebody else.
$90 worth of glittery Twilight stuff, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you look so much like Bella.
And you should know the names of these makeups. You don't even understand the names of these. It was like Bella's Pride.
Oh, nice.
Jacob's Heart. Who in their right minds would be sticking Jacob's Heart on their eyeball?
No. You have to understand, though. This is marketed for like 11, 12-year-olds.
It is not.
Amanda?
9, I think. I think 9.
It's good quality pigmented makeup that's really good.
It's good quality
Good
pygmies.
quality what, pygmies?
I think she's talking about cannibalism.
Wow.
That was really frightening. Well, tonight, we know it's been a long time since we've had our next guest on, and after this, it'll probably be a long time before they come back. But I'm really excited because our next guest, first of all, there's 2 of them. We got a double mint twin thing going on here. I'm very excited. Eric Altman has been on this show before. Eric Altman he is just really an amazing guy. He's got this great radio show, Beyond the Edge. He's part of the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society, and I just really like Eric. So Eric, welcome to the show.
Are you sure you got the right guy?
I think I do. You're a good guy. You're the man. And I want to introduce our other guest that's here with you. Really excited. He has a last name that sounds like an Italian dish I haven't had to eat yet. I'm really excited about that.
Wow.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Ryan Cavallini is here with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah,
Cavallini.
see, it would be
correct.
That'd be really nice. I said it right and everything. Did I, Ryan?
You did.
Now, you guys made a DVD together, right?
We're still working on it.
Tell us a little bit about this project you guys have been working on, and we'll kind of pick your brains about Bigfoot.
Oh, geez. Where to start, Eric? It actually started for me. A few years ago, I met Eric and a few others from the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society and started just filming what they were doing. And I found it just very intriguing what they were doing, but I couldn't put anything together to make a project out of it. So about 2 years ago, Eric and I just started filming more of the documentary stuff. And the more stories I read about in Pennsylvania with the Bigfoot, I kind of just developed this documentary/mockumentary with a story in it of what these guys do out in the woods, and it's fascinating stuff. And all the Bigfoot stories in our own backyard, it's really incredible. I don't think a lot of people realize how big Bigfoot is. As far as out there, I mean, it's in our own backyards, and some wonderful stories. And we kind of went from there, really.
You know, there's so many Bigfoot movies out right now, and Sasquatch movies and things. And I don't know what Mr. Bigfoot wants to be called, if he wants to be Bigfoot or Sasquatch or what. But there's these movies that are basically about the same type of cryptid, and some of them are just completely crazy, like the size of King Kong. One I just saw recently, and that was horrifying. And then there's others that are very entertaining. And then they redid the Boggy Creek one, which I didn't think was very cool. I like the original Boggy Creek so much. And you know, that really opened my eyes when I was a kid. That was the thing that really sparked my interest in Bigfoot, was the original Boggy Creek. I don't know why when I watch it today, because, wow, it's certainly not the same as it was when you were a little kid. When you were a little kid, you were terrified, you know?
Now it's like, oh God, get to something.
Yeah, it's like
fast forward, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I got to tell you that what I was getting at was I'm really excited to have another project out there that might bring a little more cohesion to the Bigfoot mythos and would be able to pull us in as viewers and give us more information while also entertaining the heck out of us, because some of these Bigfoot movies lately have been lacking. There's a couple of them I really like, but here lately there's been a couple that just like...
Exactly. That was kind of the big problem with it. I didn't want to make another Bigfoot gone crazy, gone wild movie with him just killing people. And, we all love the boobs, blood, and guts and gore, but it's been done 100 times. What different angle can we go at it? And the documentary stuff with Eric and them just really fit perfectly. Like, this is something no one has really seen, is what these guys do out in the woods all the time. And it's very entertaining and educational, I guess. And it's
more entertaining than anything else.
Yeah, it was more entertaining because they are a bunch of goofballs at times,
That's so. So this is like Bigfoot in the woods. This is showing you what Bigfoot does in his daily life. So he's like washing clothes. He's just wandering around.
The Jersey Shore version of Bigfoot, yeah.
That is awesome. Let's be honest. It always spices up movies. Yeah. There you go. You got it right.
Breakdancing. It was all good. It's all good.
That is frightening. Eric, it has been a while since we've had you on, man. How have things been going in your universe?
Busy. The Bigfoot phenomenon itself has really exploded in the last 4 or 5 years. It's just amazing how popular it's become. As you know, back in 2006, 2005, when the paranormal really took off with the advent of all the paranormal reality TV shows, the crypto side of things was kind of kept on the back burner. And, I'm still plugging along doing my thing. But now the whole crypto things kind of come to the forefront and really caught on, and that's what everybody seems to be interested in nowadays is Bigfoot, especially with the TV show Finding Bigfoot. It's huge, and I've been so busy with filming with Ryan, of course, and speaking around the country at different conferences and events, doing interviews for radio shows, doing my show, of course, investigating cases here in Pennsylvania. Ever since the popularity has really taken off, people have felt less apprehensive about reporting their sightings to groups like ours. And we've been, as Ryan will tell you, we've been out in the woods so much, I think my wife's ready to leave me.
Oh, man. You don't want to do that. But now, one of the things I really wanted to ask you was recently, and I don't know all the sources because I was out of town. I was trying to catch up on the news. But recently I heard someone had come out and said, yes, they do have proof of Bigfoot. Have you heard about this, Eric?
Yeah, it's a statement that was released last week by first it was released by a Russian scientist named Igor Bortsev. And he's been studying the Bigfoot phenomenon, or I should say the hominid phenomenon, for probably about 30, maybe 40 years. And he released a statement, which is actually the result of a 5-year study, a DNA study done on 100 and I believe 9 samples collected around the United States that were submitted to this study. And the study was conducted by Dr. Melba Ketchum. She's a veterinarian out of Texas with a genetics, I wouldn't say background, but some experience in the genetics field. And her, along with some other research laboratories and universities, have done some studies on these samples, and they've been able to sequence 3 genomes, and they've come up with the conclusion that Bigfoot does in fact exist, and it is some type of human hybrid. Now, at this point, all we have is a press release that was released on Facebook. It hit the mainstream media, CNN, NBC, ABC, all the major news networks picked it up and ran with it. We don't have a peer-to-peer approval yet through a scientific journal. We don't have the scientific conclusive proof available for people to pick up and read and see. All we have is a statement. We have their word given to us. So in the Bigfoot community, we're kind of waiting with bated breath to see if this really does come forward or not, because for the last 5 years, we've been teased, yes, it'll be out soon, yes, it'll be out soon, yes, it'll be out soon, and nothing's ever come of it. Now, all of a sudden, here comes this press release. So we're kind of waiting, as researchers like myself and others out there, we're waiting to see if this actually develops into something more than just a press release. If it does, it's going to be huge, especially if the scientific community does accept this study and it is released in a scientific journal. Now, Dr. Brian Sykes out of Oxford University is also running a separate study on hair samples and conducting DNA tests on those. That study should be available and ready for release, they're saying, by January 2013. So if that study comes out and it matches with what Dr. Melba Ketchum's saying, it's going to put the world on its ear.
Wow, that's pretty exciting for the cryptid community, really. I mean, we've been waiting for that for some time.
Yeah, and it'll help with a lot of validation for not only researchers like myself and Ryan. Ryan's a member of the group, but it'll also help for a lot of validation for those who've eyewitnessed this creature. It'll help quell a lot of fears and the sense of ridicule people have put up with for decades, if not centuries. It'll wipe that all clean, so people will be less apprehensive to come forward and say, yeah, I've seen this creature too. And maybe we can finally get to the bottom of what this thing really is.
That would be great. That would be great. And I hope for all of us that actually pans out, because it's about time. And I know one thing, people all over the world, like ourselves, will be rejoicing that there's something we've got some validation on in the paranormal community, even if it's not a ghost thing like a lot of people are into right now. Like you said, the Bigfoot thing's popular again. It's come full circle. And I think it would be good for all of us, because at that point we could say, well, look, you've been telling us for all these years Bigfoot wasn't real. Now we have some validation of that. We know that there is something to it. And so now, don't you dare make fun of us for sitting in the dark trying to find some ghosts. So I think it'll help a lot of people.
Yeah, and maybe the scientific community will take a step back and say, well, wait a minute, if Bigfoot is real and we do have scientific proof, what about these other phenomena that are going on that we've not looked at? Let's take a better look at these other phenomena, like the ghost phenomenon, the hauntings, the UFO phenomenon, other cryptids. So it might really help out in the whole genre of the field.
I'm ready for him to find the Beast of Bray Road. I always like that story of the Beast of Bray Road. It could be a werewolf. We don't know what it is. And Hugh, for years has been friends with Nessie. When he was a wee little lad, he was down there feeding him fish and things. And Hugh's always ridden Nessie when he goes back home to Scotland. He was there just a few weeks ago, and he took a ride. So Hugh's really excited because Nessie's felt kind of left out, and this would help. This would help Nessie too.
For a long time, yeah.
Yeah, it's not very nice, is it, Hugh? But no. It's going to be better now.
When you visit again, Hugh, give her a hug for me.
I will do.
So I'm so bad tonight. Okay, so we're going to move forward because I want to go back to the DVD. I want to kind of move backwards to the DVD for a second. Mountain Devil, The Search for Frank Peterson. Tell us what that's about.
Where to start? It's basically based on some journal entries and some stories that happened here in Pennsylvania. I kind of took pieces of each and kind of combined it together to make a mockumentary, and we're going to combine it all with a lot of the documentary stuff, like all the stuff we ran across and things that happened to us while out in the woods coincide with the story. And so you're getting documentary stuff with a kind of I don't want to say like a fake story, because a lot of it was based on true stuff that happened. We just could never get the rights to the real stories, so kind of had to piece it together ourselves. So you're getting entertainment in one aspect and educated in another. So it's really it's a different type of film than I've ever done. It's really kind of like throwing a bunch of stuff in a blender, and we'll see what happens, really.
It's also got that documentary level, so people can really learn something while they're at it.
Exactly. And the best part is, I never really did a lot of documentary work, but it's great to just go out there and film, because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what, a lot of nights Eric and I and everyone would go out and we'd get nothing. And that's frustrating, but the nights that stuff did happen, wow, we were on our toes running around like, what's going on? And that's what makes it exciting. And I really would like to do more documentaries in the future, just because it brought filmmaking more exciting again for me. You're not going by a script, you're going by just what people are feeling, their gut feelings on things.
Yeah, it's a lot like ghost hunting. You go out 20 times and you might get one tiny thing.
Exactly.
What's kind of cool about the filming for Ryan, and for us too, is I've been doing this now for a long time. I've probably been doing field research, investigating cases for 15 years, and I've been studying this phenomenon for over 32 years. So I've had a lot of experience in the woods and in the books themselves, and I've had personal experiences. So to me, going out, it's still a thrill. But for someone like Ryan, who's never had the personal experiences, him going out there, I know he had his apprehensions, and I know he wasn't probably a full believer in it. He probably still isn't a full believer in it. But getting that one time in the woods where we do have something happen, where you have rocks being thrown at us at 3 o'clock in the morning, or hearing a large animal moving around the perimeter of where we're sitting in the field, or something, you get that really overwhelming sensation of some kind of large animal on a wooded hillside watching you from the woods. And Ryan, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
To have those kind of experiences, it really brings it full circle for someone who hasn't had that experience before. It gives them an idea of what researchers like myself have done and gone through. So as a filmmaker for Ryan, he was able to not only capture that on film, but to experience it for himself. So it was kind of good for him in both aspects.
Yeah.
It's like ghost hunting. I mean, you almost become a junkie to it. And like, you want to go out again and see what else happens, or what can you find. And like Eric almost getting divorced, I went through a relationship because you'd rather be out in the woods.
Oh, my.
It is. Like,
It's an adrenaline rush. It is.
It is. Do you want to have dinner? No, I want to go look for Bigfoot.
You have to find a Bigfoot girl.
The female species of Bigfoot are not very attractive, no.
Nice cover.
I'm pleading the fifth. I'm not saying anything on that one.
I don't blame you. Jeez, that was a setup. So, Ryan, now tell me about your filmmaking background, man. What's going on with that? How long have you been making movies? Have you done like normal? I take it you in the past you were doing normal narrative films where you had scripts and things. Then you just kind of got tired of that.
Basically, well, the funny part is, from your background and all the films you made, it costs a lot of money to make these. I have 10 films under my belt, mostly horror, some comedy horror, but it got to the point where I'm like, we're spending a lot of money on these and not getting a return, really. So, what's the cheapest thing to go make? It was a documentary. And luckily, I found something I really fell in love with, and stuck with it for the last 2 years of filming. It just really came down to money. So most of the stuff we shot were all horror films, but this is a new take for me, and I'm really enjoying it. It kind of brought back with the love of filmmaking for me, really.
Now, Ryan, what are some of the titles you've done that people might know?
We've done. The horror comedies were Dead Body Man, 1, 2, and 3, Stockholm Syndrome. My last scripted horror film was The Great American Serial Killer, Inspiring Psychopath, Demon Slaughter, Serial Killer, Day of the Axe, House of Carnage, and I'm drawing a blank.
That's okay, because I already in that list, I've seen some of those. I have. And I think I even wrote you once to tell you about what I thought of Stockholm Syndrome. I'd watched it, and I think I wrote you and told you that I thought it was pretty good. I thought I really enjoyed it. I thought you guys were doing a cool thing on a low budget there, and like you said, even a low budget. I mean, that people don't realize when you say low budget, they immediately get an image that you're out there with like 42 cents in a Cracker Jack box and a Fisher Price camera. But even low budget stuff is still thousands and thousands of dollars coming out of your pocket. And I thought you guys did a fantastic job when I watched the Stockholm Syndrome. I had a great time with it, and it was a good flick. And the thing is, watching that, you could see that there was a passion involved. You guys loved what you were doing, and even if you didn't have the budget and sometimes the means to even really finish a film or even do the scene the way you wanted it, because when you're writing it or when you're envisioning it as a director, it's very difficult. But you I think, and I may be speaking wrongly here, but because you may have had a whole different vision in mind for that movie, but I think, for the budget and for what you had clearly to work with, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it coming from you.
Well, thank you for that.
Actually, when I was in college, I had posters of your movies on my wall. You were my idol back then for independent filmmakers, because you were out there doing that stuff, and for me back then, that was my goal, was to be doing what you were doing. So you were like not an altar, but your picture was up on my wall in college. Because
wow,
that's what
man.
I wanted to be doing.
I'm all red in the face. What an honor, man. What an
posters.
It's actually kind of funny, Todd. Ryan and I were talking about you, as a matter of fact, when we were out on one of our Bigfoot trips, and I mentioned I had a radio show on Jackalope Radio, and you were one of the network owners, and he said, "Oh yeah, I remember meeting Todd. He was a hero of mine." I said, "Yeah, he's a good friend of mine," and we said, "Yeah, we both know Todd," so it worked out pretty cool for both of us.
Small world. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
small world after all. That's right. Wow, man.
Yeah, I know Todd too.
Yeah. Hey, man.
It's the 6 degrees of Todd.
That's right. Wow, man, that is really cool, man. You just humbled me there. You know, it made my day. And the thing is, really, the reason why it's so humbling, the reason why it just made my heart like jump for joy a little bit was because, you know, when we were making those movies, I was young myself, and a lot of those films, and we were told we couldn't make movies here where we're at now, and it was harder back then because you didn't have the readily available camera equipment and things. We had to actually go out and go to film houses and rent these things, or broadcast studios, and work there and work for free so we could borrow some equipment or whatever. It was a really tough time to make movies, and all I wanted, really, as god awful as some of them were, my early movies were just terrible, but all I hoped for was that I would entertain someone in much the way that movies like Slithis and Phantasm and Lucio Fulci movies did for me when I was, you know, in school, and I'd have the worst day, man. I would be like, oh, what a crap day, and I'd go to the movie, and I'd be like, wow, everything went away for an hour and a half. You know, all those troubles were gone. You had a great time, and you felt like you were friends with those people. And that's why, you know, it's really cool to hear you say that, because that's all I wanted. That's all I ever wanted. Because God knows, like you said, we don't get rich doing this. And it did my heart well, man. Thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. Hey, Zombie Rampage still one of my favorites. So,
no. Oh, that movie. That I got to tell you, I'm going to tell that story real quick, just because I have to tell you, Ryan, that movie. And I know you've probably experienced similar things, but that movie was my first movie. Okay, so I did everything by the book. I'd been not my shooting. My shooting was still raw because there was no one to work with that in this area that could teach me things.
How old were you?
I was about, I think, 16. I'd done these short films, and I think I was like 16, 17 when I started on Zombie Rampage. And I was really having a rough time because I didn't have anyone that, you know, to kind of be a mentor to me in that department as far as directing lines and things. And I didn't know some of the technical stuff I wish I would have known on my first movie. But I went out there and I did it. And the problem was I did it by the book. I went out and I hired a camera guy. And he was going to do it for a certain amount of money. And I got me an investor, and I did all this stuff, and I did it by the book. Halfway through the film, the camera guy decides, he's late to the set by 4 hours one night, and I'm freaking out. And he calls me up and he says, "I'll be there, but you need to gather some money together for me, because if I'm coming, I'm getting $600 because me and my lady were on the town," and all this crap. True story. So so I have to call this investor guy, and this investor guy hadn't given me money in forever, and I was scraping by on my own, and I'm like, "Man, you've got to come through. You've got to come to the set. You got to bring some money." So this guy shows up in a limo. He's crazy. This investor I had at the time, Lonzo Bowles, shows up in this limo. He was a local owner of bars and things, and he hands me $600. I give it to this camera guy who held me for ransom until I did, and then we started shooting again. Now, mind you, during this time, I had a cast and crew there for 4 hours with nothing to do. So this went on again 2 weeks later. He holds me up for ransom for another $350. I said, "Well, you need to buy Christmas presents? What's going on here?" And once again, this Lonzo guy, he couldn't find him or anything. So all of us scraped together out of our pockets and came up with the money and paid this guy to continue filming. So then what happened was some of the kids were college drama students. They were going home for the holidays. No joke. 10 of those people never came back from going home for the holidays. They dropped out of college and they never came back. So of course they didn't come back to here where I'm at to do the movie. They were in different states. Then on top of that, the cameraman never came back, and our investor disappeared off of the planet. We don't know where he went. Turns out later he went to Atlantic City and stayed there forever. But all this happened to me in the middle of that movie, and so I was basically stuck, and so I had to go and just find a place to rent the gear myself and do it myself. So when people look at that like, "Man, you didn't know what you were doing with filming," I was like, well, you know what? The guy that got paid, that was doing it for a living, is the one who set up those shots. until like the second half. And the funny thing is, the parts they like are the parts we shot ourselves without that guy, which is kind of funny because we did our own thing. And that was, he freaked out so bad on that scene where the zombies attack the mom walking her baby in the stroller that honestly, he freaked out so bad he left. And we had to stop shooting that night because he was so offended by it. Of course, in those days, no one was making zombie movies hardly anymore at that time. And so we were kind of pushing the envelope, trying to do something really gross. And we were kind of like a bunch of Bart Simpsons sitting around going, hey, man, watch this. We're going to really gross people out. But that really did happen. And so when I got all done, I had this movie without characters that just dropped out. And I had to edit this hodgepodge of material together to get a final product. And I had to go and volunteer at a local cable station to use their equipment. I worked for free. It ended up working out though because they liked me. I worked so much they hired me. I ended up working there for 4 or 5 years as a senior editor, and also I directed their TV shows and things. But the bad part was I had to make a movie out of 70% of a movie. And I literally didn't have enough to do it. And so when I watch Zombie Rampage now, I think of what could have been, and it's very difficult to set through for me.
Remake it.
Is that why it ends the way it does? It just ends?
It just ends. Because we're like, okay, we're going to let the audience decide. It's like these zombies are coming after the characters. They start screaming, and did they live or die? We don't know. It just ends. Also, The Hills Have Eyes did it, so I figured if Wes Craven could do it, anyone could.
You make movies?
Yeah, once in a while. So there's my way too long story that I've taken way too much time on.
Years.
Once every what?
Yeah. I used to make them all the time. It was a bad thing. It was like quantity over quality, but I changed. So yeah, man, I'm real proud of what you're doing, and I'm glad that in some way I could inspire that, because that's really all you can hope for as a filmmaker. I know you feel the same way.
Oh, absolutely. So the old days of mom and pop shops are way gone. That was such a glorious time then too, to be making movies.
It was.
And the whole EI cinema and all that. Even I think they're still running. I don't know.
Yeah.
The catalog days. I mean, that was just a glorious time with VHS tapes.
That was crazy too, because in those days, there was very few of us that we kind of paved the way in a way. I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back in any way because I think I sucked, but we paved the way just because of the fact that we went out there and did it and got distributors to pick it up. A matter of fact, I kind of regret some of that because Dave Dakota, my buddy, he picked up some of my first movies. And I love David Dakota. He's a fantastic director in his own right and a great producer. And he believed in me, and he said, I'm going to put these out for you. And when you're a kid and one of your heroes says they're going to put your movie out, you say, okay. And in reality, I should have put those in a closet, locked them up in vault so they couldn't see the light of day for the rest of my life. But it's kind of cool because we did pave the way for a lot of, really zero-budget stuff to get in these stores and things. And for better or worse, that opened the doorway now so that these films come down on Lionsgate that people are shooting, on digital equipment and things and camcorders. We kind of paved the way for all that. People like J.R. Bookwalter and myself, and there were several others, Eric Stanzi and Tim Ritter, and a bunch of us. We did it. And before I was kind of doing it before Eric, and then I met Eric. He was a really nice guy, and I loved to see him doing it. And Tim Ritter was out there. He was shooting 16. He kind of switched over to video, and it was a great time, like you say. The world was just wide open because these stores were opening everywhere, and they needed product, and there wasn't enough to fill it. So we kind of came in and filled it.
Yeah, now it's kind of changed. Internet download is kind of the mom and pop shop now.
If you can, if the piracy stops, because I need to say right here, if the piracy doesn't stop, man, there won't be any more Bigfoot movies, low budget Bigfoot movies, because we won't be able to afford to do them anymore.
Right.
So I'm bringing it back to Bigfoot. Did you see how I did that?
Documentary style, yeah.
Exactly. Well, exactly. You had to do it documentary style because every movie you make, you're pouring your heart and soul and your money into, and you've got investors that you can't pay back because people are stealing the movies on the internet.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, thanks to Eric and his group. I mean, I guess I'm part of the group now. I mean, they were just wonderful people to work with. I mean, it's just been the most easy group to ever work with. And that's what's going to make the movie so wonderful to watch for them, too. Everyone just worked really hard on it.
Well, I tell you what, Eric's kind of like a plague, man. He infects you, and you can't get rid of the guy. He just gets in there. He gets underneath your skin.
Is that a compliment? Or?
It is. That's a compliment. From the first time we talked, you got this positive energy, and your energy and belief in this subject and your love of cryptozoology is infectious, man. It gets right in there. It gets under the skin, and it really inspires us to keep going whenever we're banging our heads against a wall with people who just don't believe and don't want to support us. It's your kind of attitude and people like you that keep us going. All right, Hugh, what do you got?
Okay. Where's the top 5
Lord
places
have
in
mercy.
in the US to search for Bigfoot?
That's a great question. Let me think here. The Pacific Northwest, of course, would probably be my first choice. That would consist of Northern California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia. The northeastern panhandle of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas would probably be my second choice to send you. Of course, the Fouke, Arkansas area, that area right there has been very active and very hot for sightings for decades. Surprisingly, the northeastern part of the United States, southeastern Ohio, southwestern Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, very, very active with sightings and reports, even up into New York. We've had a ton of them over the last 50 years. Florida, Georgia, that area right there is a great area to look for the skunk ape. A lot of sightings come out of that area. And, of course, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's been a very active area as well. So there's some good spots in the United States that are really active and producing some good evidence and some good sighting reports. And really, you can go to any state, find a good forested area in any state with the exception of Hawaii. There's been sightings in every state. Just some are more active and they keep coming back and staying in that area for some reason. We haven't figured that out yet. But those would probably be my 5 top places to send you.
Man, that's awesome.
Maybe we should send Chris to take a look.
Yeah, he's already floating around out there in the 4th level of hell, so I'm sure he could find something.
I'm going to strap a camera to his head and make him do it.
Jeez.
I got to send a hey out to Chris. I know he's not able to join us tonight, but I tuned in a little earlier and I heard him call in. And hey, Chris, I just got to ask if you want a date.
That's right.
Want a date?
That's right. That's right. We're really
still
pleased.
trying to figure that out. By the way. As far as for me for Bigfoot in 2013, I've got a bunch of speaking engagements coming up around the eastern United States. We've got a couple of expeditions, public expeditions we're going to put on this coming year. As we do every year, we invite the public to come out with us when we go out on camping trips and looking. That's actually probably how we got Ryan involved with us, is saying, hey, come out with us and check out what we do. And we got him hooked. And
I hated camping.
Yeah, and now he loves it.
I became a camper, yeah.
Wow,
Yep.
That's cool.
And, we'll be doing that. I'll be following up on reports as they come in. Of course, loving it here on Jackalope, doing my show every Sunday night. Been doing that for, I can't believe it's been 5 years already. But doing that and just keeping busy with all the paranormal stuff that comes down the pike.
What about the thoughts of them being interdimensional?
Well, you know what? When I first started this, I was completely flesh and blood, thinking this was an animal or a half human, half animal, or some kind of primate or something. But the longer I'm in this, and the longer these more questions pop up, I have to entertain that. I can't just sit by and idly just blow it off. I mean, there's something going on, and I can't say it is interdimensional. I don't know for sure, but it's one of those questions that you can't ignore. I mean, it as a good researcher and as an objective researcher, you have to look at all possible avenues. Can I say it is? No, but I can't say it isn't.
Yeah, because, I mean, they've been, able to hide themselves for so long that, there has to be something like that.
Maybe they're like the Predator. But
they don't have a cloaking device.
Yeah, but maybe they're just really camouflagey, okay?
They're not Klingons.
Camouflagey.
What rule
Hey,
says...
you don't know. It could be technology from Atlantis. Who knows, right?
What rule says that Sasquatches can't be...
That's true. That's true.
That is true.
I have an idea, Eric. I'm going to run this by you before we go because we're running out of time. Got an idea for a TV show. I think it'd be great. Every week you can you have like a host of this show, and then like you every week there's a team that you kind of mix it up. Celebrity Bigfoot hunt, and like one week you'll have like Nicolas Cage and Christopher Walken. And, where? I don't get it. Maybe. Was it loud? I don't know. I started to snore, but there was a Bigfoot. Let's go.
I don't think I can make it to the first episode.
I mean, it would be pretty exciting. Every week you got these guys in the woods roughing it. And you get the coolest actors ever. Like you get Gary Busey out there.
I was thinking of Busey. Yeah,
you should talk. You should talk to Brian about that.
Wow. We should talk about this because Gary Busey and Chris Walken running around looking for Bigfoot would be something I'd watch every week.
Well, Corbin Bernstein? He only does reality TV now.
That'd be kind of cool. Think of all the cool people you could pull into it. It'd kind of be like watching Donald Trump's Celebrity Apprentice, only Celebrity Bigfoot hunt. It'd be kind of cool, you know. It would be one of those things.
You could have the guy from Poison on there.
I was thinking of Gene Simmons, actually.
You have Mr. T out there. I pity the fool who don't believe in Bigfoot.
I watched Brainstorm last night with Chris Watt.
Get Hank Hill on there saying, "What the hell?"
That's it. That's it. Exactly. See, that's what I want to sell Bigfoot some propane. That's right. That's right. I can do Alf. Like Alf seeing Bigfoot. That's one. I could definitely do that one. Willie. I thought it was a kitty, but it was this big thing with huge feet. Stomped on Kate, left her in the dirt. Chewed on Brian's forehead.
That's frightening.
It is. It is.
Oh, man.
It's just wrong. So that's how we're going to end this wonderful, wonderful night. I do want to thank you, Eric and Ryan, both you guys. I want to thank you for taking time out. It is an honor to call you guys friends, and you're always part of the family here. You know that. And Ryan, thank you for the kind words, man. You made my day. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem, sir. We'll make sure you get a copy so you can take a look at it when it's done.
Please, please. I'm excited. I mean, like I said, the Stendhal
As
syndrome
long
is
as you're
good
not
stuff.
going to bootleg.
Thank you again, Eric. Thank you again, Ryan. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having us on. Appreciate it, Todd. You guys have a great night. And, hey, thanks for having me on the network. I love you guys.
Oh, we love you too, brother. You take care.
Take care.
Good night.
And what a wonderful show. I want to thank all of our friends out there
Yeah.
for sharing their lives with us and for allowing us to invade their ears.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
And homes.
thank you, thank you, thank
Yep,
you,
their
thank you.
homes,
And cars.
wherever they may be. Thanks to all of our affiliates who carry the show worldwide and make sure all of our friends can hear us. Without you, we wouldn't be able to be heard, and without our friends out there to listen, we wouldn't even be able to really be here. There'd be no reason. So I'm really thankful for that here. Really, in all seriousness, that means the world to me. It really does, and that's why I'm here week after week after week doing this, because I love it that much, and I appreciate it. And until next time, guys, I got to tell you, it is so much fun.
I'm getting out of here, Damien.
All right.
Fine, then go.
Gotta go.
I'm gone.
We're gone.
We're leaving.
I am.
Bye.
Go.
I'm
Come on.
leaving.
Go
There's
there.
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Hey, Bigfoot.
See you next week.
Spook to you later.
That was much better. And
There you go.
Pleasant nightmares. Oyasumi Nasai. Nightwatch is a production of Jackalope Media in association with Jackalope Radio, with your host Todd Sheets and co-hosts Hugh McClanahan and Chris Weisbach, featuring voice work from September Day. Also with Amanda H. and Audrey Q, associate producers.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kinda funny, I find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Children waiting for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday. And to feel the way that every child should sit and listen, sit and listen. Went to school and I was very nervous. No one knew me, no one knew me. Hello teacher, tell me what's my lesson. Look right through me, look right through me. And I find it kinda funny, I find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. The people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Enlarging your world. Mad
You can also listen to Nightwatch on the following incredible radio stations: World Talk Radio, Livid Radio, Hawking Radio, Planet Tokyo, Sessions Radio, Power 3201, Z106 FM, Haunted Voices Radio, K94 Rocks, Glue 92, Anomaly Radio, Mystic Age Radio, 96.3 Shane FM, Flash FM, Nomad Radio Network, Yapster FM, My Retro Rock Radio, Double X Radio, 1611 AM, Australia, KBMA, Sports and Entertainment Radio, Robin Valley Community Radio, Radio Crackle, Planet Paranormal, The Black Vault Radio Network, Radio Free Bob, KCOR, WCRP AM, 1620, Rock and Talk Radio, The Point 99.1 FM, Extreme Indie Radio, Omnicron Radio, WPAZ 1370, Blast Podcast, KJO 97.3 FM, Indie 104 FM O Radio, WDSP 101.9 Fox FM, Ghost Village, Switchpod, Pure Country, Headcase Radio, Slack and Bracken Radio, Future World, Red Finger Radio, Catnip Radio, Scuttlebutt, The Butt at radio.thebutt.net, BNRX Internet Radio for the Extreme, KCIA at kcia1.com, Extreme Radio Tampa, Ryukin Radio, X100, SRN1, the 1KX Network, KJAG Radio, Random Radio, Riff Raff Radio, Exile Radio, WOQAM Radio, FCN Radio, Gray Point, Brand Name Radio, CKDU FM, Leaf Pile Radio, Rocktown Radio, Bizu Homegrown Radio, WWRW, the Worldwide Radio Web, The Dust at www.onthedust.com, Radio Vox, Atlantis 102, Land's Edge Radio, Mix 94.5 FM, 91.5 FM, Ghost Radio, Jet City Radio, Hits 99.9, Extreme Radio 1077, Ghost Radio X, The Beat, Shadows of the Night, East Hill Radio, Hot 97.7 FM, 91.5 FM BVIR, Bearcast Radio, Kudia Radio, World Talk Radio, Surge Radio Network, Radio End, Dragonflight Radio, Beefy Radio, K94 Rocks, Anomaly Radio, Power 3201, and Independent International Radio, Lips 106 FM, Dragonflight Designs Radio, Indie X Radio, The Free Constitution Network, WOQ AM 1690, The Mix 94.5, AM Stereo 930, Radio Enigma, Steel City Radio. If you're an affiliate and your name is not on this list, send me an email and I'll add it as soon as possible. Remember to check out all these great stations for their own days and showtimes for Nightwatch. And don't forget, you can listen to Nightwatch anytime you want to by going to the audio chamber at www.nightwatchradio.com and downloading your favorite episodes for your own personal paranormal pleasure. And as always, you can hear Nightwatch live every Tuesday night right here at 9 p.m. Central on jackaloperadio.com.